If you've never heard of the Internet Archive, it's pretty cool. It's on archive.org, and it's a nonprofit library, and it's got just millions and millions of stuff, audio files, visual files, books, scans, that sort of thing. So what I want to walk through in this video is 3 books that I found in the corner of the internet here, and the author's name is Mori, and they're from 1917. So these are 3 books that are uploaded onto archive.org, and they're in the public domain, and they were uploaded by the Smithsonian Library. So I'm just going to pop open the first one. And here's just an example of what that book would look like. I've just got it open here to page 41 of 53. So these are basically Asian pieces of art inside of a book. I'll just move the page forward and we can see it's just lots and lots of different swirls, geometric shapes, that sort of thing. What I really like about this is that it's a relatively high quality scan, and also there's no text, so that it's really easy now if you wanted to take these images, scan them into Inkscape, and then use them in some way for your design. This is just one of the 3 books. There's 2 more here as well. There's 3 volumes. So I'll open up the other volume. This is the first page. This is called Wave Design. And then basically inside of this browser, I can then just scroll forward to page 2, to page 3, that sort of thing. I can also just move it along here. Along the bottom, there's a little slider. And I can just see here on page 11. There's also Asian artwork as well in the form of letters. And so you can take that in and you could combine the 2 as well. So that's actually what I'm going to do now. I'm going to take this image and I'm just going to open the image in a new tab. So here's the image. I think it's pretty high quality scan here so far. And I'm going to take that and just save it. So I'm just right clicking and saving the image. And then I'm going to use Inkscape now to create some sort of unique artwork from the combination of the image on the left and the image on the right. Okay, I'm inside of Inkscape now. And if you've never used Inkscape before, this is just a free vector tool. You can just download it online. You can go to inkscape.org. There's menus along the left. There's menus along the top. There's menus along the right-hand side. And what I'm going to do now is just import that original image. I'll go to File, Import. And here's my original scan now that I'm going to import right from the screenshot that I took from the book. Okay, so here's my screenshot. Now to take a trace of a bitmap on it, so I'd like to just basically take this picture and this picture. I'm just going to select the image, go up to Path, go create Trace Bitmap. And then it's going to give me an option here. I can click the little update button, and that'll give me an idea of how dark this is. If it's too dark or too light, you can also change this. So you can go to like 60, for example, hit update, and that will change how this looks. When you're happy with that, you just click OK. And now it's made a copy of my image. That's actually a vector file. So I'm going to click on the original and click delete. And now this is my image here. Now I can move it into Photoshop, I could move it into Affinity, I could just leave it here in Inkscape. So now I can just extract this as a PNG file. And the reason I like a PNG file is that there's no white background now on this design. So when I go to File, Document Properties, for example, I can actually make the background a checkerboard background, and we can see there is no white anymore in behind. All I've done is traced the actual waves and the actual Asian lettering. So to go into the export function now, over on the right hand side, there's a little export button. It's about the 6th one down. You click on the little export button, and then you can export the PNG to whatever location you would like. Okay, so I've changed the file name location to where I'd like it to go. And then I can also make it bigger or smaller if I want to as well. So when I'm selecting this, I can actually move this around like it's one big lumpy file, like one big image. And I can make it smaller or larger depending on what I would like to do. So here it says 2965 by 2439. If I need a really big image, the nice thing about a vector is I can make it really large. So here's 7400 by 6100, 400 dots per inch, and I'll click the export button. So now it's going to export it as a high quality PNG file. The bigger the file, of course, the longer it'll take to export. And of course, if your computer is more or less powerful, it'll take time as well. Okay, so we're good now. Now you can go into whatever image editing software you use, Photoshop, Canva, Affinity, whatever it is you use. I'm just going to use my old Photoshop just because I'm more comfortable with it, but you can use whatever tool you like to use. So now I'm in Photoshop. And again, this is just an example of what you can do. I'm not saying you have to do this. You can make these any way you like, but I do get requests from people saying, well, what am I supposed to do with the image? So this is just an example. I'm going to go to File, Place, and then I'm going to pick my image. Okay, so my image is now placed. So what I can do now with it is I can basically make a copy, and then I'll just remove, like eliminate the one, so I'm only working on one copy now. And then what I can do is just take the Asian lettering, for example, and I can just copy that. So I can just go Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste. That's going to give me my Asian lettering. I don't really need anything else other than the waves. So I'm going to take the waves. I'll take a copy of that. Actually, I'll make it a little bit bigger here just so I capture everything. I'll do Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste. And again, if you're not using Photoshop, it's not a big deal. You can just use whatever you like. I'm just showing you how quickly you can create stuff in real time here. Turns out I didn't need that second layer. So then I can just take this and I can just make it bigger. So that'll be my image. You'd want to clean up the outsides of it, of course, because there's like a border and stuff, right? But I'm just showing you this as an example of like, I'll say sometimes on YouTube, like I upload, 20 or 30 designs a day onto Redbubble, and people go, how's that humanly possible? And it's like, well, this is the extent of the design, right? Like you're just going in and you're taking existing stuff, you're modifying it to make it a bit unique, and then that's it. So now I've got the Asian lettering. I'll put that on top. So let's make it like that, for example. And then I can make this Asian lettering, for example, a different color. So I'll just pick like a dark red, for example. Something like that. I'll make a box, like a shape. Here we go. I'll put the box over top. So now I've just made the Asian lettering just a different color. It's probably a little too dark. I'll make it a bit brighter. There we go. So like that's just an example of what you could do, right? And then you would just put some sort of maybe a vintage color, like a really light gray or something in behind. So I'm just going to use like a paint bucket. So I can just make it like that. So there you go. Like that would be the image. And then you could save it as a high-end print. You could put it on a t-shirt. I would just remove the background if I was putting that on a t-shirt, for example. You could also flip the dark image and you could make it white. So for example, like adjustments, invert, you could just invert that and make it a white image. So that's just an example. Now I have no idea what these letters are saying. I don't like particularly care. Like I'm just making this, Asian looking artwork. So that's just an idea of what you could do with it. I had a request from a person on YouTube that was asking about making coloring books. And so this would be, I think, a great opportunity to make pages inside of a coloring book just like that. And then people could color in the waves. They could color in whatever they like. So that's an idea as well. So I'll throw a couple examples of this at the end of the video as well. So you can see what I mean when I say mocking up t-shirts and prints and things like that. So I'll put the actual link to these books below. the Internet Archive has a pretty nice viewer. On the bottom right, you can look at 1 page, you can look at 2 pages, you can even look at 4 pages. Or I guess not 4 pages, but it's like a grid. It moves it into like different views depending on your, I've got a pretty large monitor here, but then you can do a quick scan through the entire book. So I'll open up book number 1 and book number 2 and book number 3. And let's pop open the first book and just do a quick scan through all of it. So you can see here the different pages. I'll just open one up here, just like that. You can see that's pretty nice. It's a lot of waves. It's a lot of things like that. The second book is the same thing. This is where I found my artwork that I was using for my example. There's about 30, 40 pages here in the book. It's not huge, but again, I think they're really clean scans of a lot of Asian artwork here. Like that's a great example right there where you could put that on a t-shirt, and then you could put some Asian lettering on the one side or the other side or right over top of it. And that's like, that would probably be pretty good. So this link here, I'll put that in the video description below as well. 3 cool books. I hope you guys found that helpful. I really enjoy finding abstract images that I can use for artwork. It's easy, it's public domain, it's legal, and it's pretty high quality stuff. Hope you guys found that helpful. Have a great day, guys.